also have, I'm kind of getting to the big ones that are like recent past lives. Um, I have memories of what I now know. It's probably Lake Como, or now that I know that there's a different Hollywood in Greece with a large lake, but like Caligula and different Roman emperors would have these giant parties on barges, like big wooden barges, and I have this memory of being on this giant barge, and I was like a beautiful woman, and it was like twilight, and there was all these twinkly lights on the barge, and it was a lake because I could see the shore all around me, and there was kind of houses on the shoreline. It was a very like wealthy area, I guess, but it was a huge barge. It was like an island, and it was like a big party, and I remember it was like twilight. It was like almost dark. And you could, I remember looking up and seeing like lots of stars, and maybe planets. Okay, and so more recently, I have, these ones are definite, because these ones I've had multiple times throughout the years, even when I was little. But, so this one was, I think I lived to be in my either late teens or into the 20s. I don't know, I think I was a woman, but it was like 50s or 60s, because I was in like this vintage car, like this, like a Chevy, or I don't know, but like an old car, but it was big inside, like a Buick, and I was driving, and like had one of those big steering wheels, and it was over a large bridge that was, I have different bridge memories, but I'm pretty sure it was like a metal bridge that has like the arc, but it has like the X's of the metal, and it's like over a deep like river gorge. So maybe like an Appalachia or like Pacific Northwest, something like that maybe. But I'm driving, and I know I'm gonna drive it off the edge, and it's like I know it's coming, and I just drive, and then I turn and I drive off the edge, and I'm free falling in the car, and I hit the water, and I've woken up in various parts of the fall. One, like it kind of progresses as I got older. I'd wake up like as I drove over, and then I would start to wake up as I'm free falling, and then I would wake up like on impact of the water. More recently, I've like survived the impact of the water, and the water starts coming in, and I'm like sinking and trying to get out of the sinking water, or the sinking car. I don't know if I think I've gotten out of the car and swam, but there's always something. I don't think I survive. The next one is a plane crash. So this one, I'm pretty sure it's like, again, I was young. I was like, probably like early 20s. I'm in the cockpit of a plane, so I'm thinking it's the late 70s. And either I'm a stewardess or I'm a pilot. I was thinking for a while I was a stewardess, but now I'm thinking I'm a pilot, because I'm always in the cockpit, and I'm like, a lot of times I have control over the plane. It's never, I do have dreams where I am a passenger, but it's more often where I'm in the, like, it's like I have a whole bubble window in front of me, and I have control over the plane. But multiple times I've had this dream. But yeah, and then I know it's gonna happen, and I have this, you know, like dread during the dream because it's like so reoccurring that I know, or myself knows in the dream that it's gonna happen. But do a nosedive into ocean. Yeah. Another life that, so there was a while when I was like 14, 15, excuse me, no, maybe I was like 15, 16, maybe 17, where I would sleep for, if I could, like on the weekends, I would sleep for like 14 hours every day. And I would wake up exhausted, and I still wake up exhausted, but I'd wake up like exhausted, and I would actually live lifetimes. I would have epic long dreams, like Lord of the Rings, where I'd live generations, where I'd be like a child, and it would be like I would be watching the whole history of a civilization, and I'd grow up and become a grandmother and have grandchildren. And one of these was where I ended up, you know, living a whole lifetime and becoming this that was really weird, space princess. And it kind of like reminiscent of like the royalty in Dune, or like kind of Queen Amidala. But I drew this, see, like this. I had this when I got older as a grandmother. I had this huge brimmed hat, and it was like black, like jet black, and it had all these like twinkly lights, and it was like the lights, the little dots on my hat were like stars of the universe, and it was like I had the like universe in my hat. I don't know, but other lives that I had where I was in this really close-knit Mexican family. And I have a memory, we'd have these huge, like, family, like, I don't know, 40 people that, like, were all my family. And it's, everybody's, like, kind of chubby and really loving. And, like, there's, like, I don't even know who I was in the family, but there's, like, a grandmother, and it's just, like, super warm, and everybody's loving, and we're, like, sitting down for this big meal. A big spread of food. So that was one life. I've had multiple reoccurring where I'm killed by either my mother or my father. You're probably not gonna like that to hear that, but either one, different scenarios. But I've been murdered like many times in different lives. I'm usually chased and then stabbed, or I've had like smothered. I've jumped off a cliff many times, but a lot of times I fly. But when I was younger, I had a lot of dreams where I jumped off a cliff and I wake up when I'm falling, or I wake up upon impact. I also have a knowing that I lived on Atlantis. That one is just like a memory of like being up on kind of a terraced cliff and like looking out onto like a large bay, or like a large an inlet of the ocean, but it's almost like it surrounds like a big circle, and there's like a tiny island in the middle, but it's like these white like terraced buildings, and I just remember like looking out in the blue water. One of the cooler ones is one again that I had when I was a teenager, where I've had multiple dreams where I'm actually in a video game, and this one I'm in third person perspective, kind of looking down onto, it was like a Mario guy, and I was like looking onto Mario's head, like kind of floating above, like I'm like up here or looking down on him over kind of to the angle of the back, and the whole world is kind of, I'm at that angle, and there's like little obstacles and I'm jumping through, and I die, and then like kind of like a claw comes up and picks up my head and brings me back to the beginning, and then I go again, and like I have I'm remembering all the obstacles and like what to do next time so that I don't die. So it's like multiple times I have these game overs and I'm brought to the beginning, and I'm trying to get farther each time, and I'm like actually having this memory of remembering in my dream the obstacles. I was in like a kind of a Crash Bandicoot video game where I was him in a black space. It was like in a black world with like a little path. Another cool one that I had was where I was actually a stuffed animal inside of, you know, those arcade games where it has the claw that comes and picks up the stuffed animal. I think I was a pink bunny, and I was inside the glass, and it was like a big red arcade game, and I was like surrounded by stuffed animals, and all I was doing was like trying to position myself perfectly so that the claw would come get me and select me, and it would like come and get me, and you know how it like happens where it like it gets you and then it like just kind of pulls a little and then it like slides off, like it has no grip. Like that happened a bunch of times, and I was like feeling super defeated. But yeah, like I could barely move, like I would be like kind of just like get me, you know. Yeah, so I still have, there's like so many more different types of dreams. I probably also died in an elevator, but that's a concurrent dream that I still have like daily, is elevator free falls. And I can usually control it, and I talk to people in the elevator and I tell them like what to do, because you like want to jump when it hits the bottom. But I actually experience free fall in my dream where I go weightless, and I'm like floating in the elevator. A lot of times I hit the ceiling. But anyways, that's for another story. I like look like crap, but yeah. So I'd love to know what you guys think, and thank you so much to everybody that's been reaching out to me and making connections. I really appreciate making new friends, and I love you guys. Okay, all right, take care, everybody. Bye.